You walk into a room and before anyone says a word, before anyone has even looked at you, you already know. You know who is tense. You know who is pretending to be fine. You know something shifted between those two people before you arrived. Nobody told you, and nothing was said out loud. You just felt it, like walking into a room and reading the weather before you check the sky. And then you spend the next hour carrying that information, processing it, and trying to figure out what it means, whether you should say something, whether you are imagining it, or whether it is even your place to notice. Meanwhile, everyone else in the room just gets on with it. Here's what nobody ever told you about that. That thing you do, that automatic, exhausting, deeply accurate thing, is not a flaw. It is not anxiety dressed up in a personality trait. It is one of the rarest and most extraordinary ways a human mind can be wired. And the reason it has felt like a burden your entire life is because nobody ever taught you how to carry it. Here's the thing that makes this particular experience so quietly difficult. You understand yourself deeply, thoroughly, and perhaps better than most people ever come to understand themselves in a lifetime. You know why you react the way you do. You can trace it back and you can name it. You can explain it with a precision that would take most people years of therapy to reach. And yet, it still happens. The anxiety still rises, the overwhelm still arrives, and the feeling of carrying too much still lands with the same weight it always has. That gap between understanding everything and still feeling it all is perhaps the most exhausting part of being wired this way. Because from the outside, people assume that if you understand something, you should be over it, past it, and done with it. But insight and ease are not the same thing. Knowing exactly why a wave is coming does not make the wave smaller. It just means you watch it coming with perfect clarity and still get knocked over. That is the paradox of being too aware. Here is the simple truth of what is going on. Roughly 1 in 5 people are born with a nervous system that is tuned differently. Not broken and not disordered, just calibrated at a higher sensitivity. Where most people's brains filter incoming information, taking in what is necessary and discarding the rest, a brain wired this way keeps more of it. The subtle shift in someone's voice, the micro-expression that crossed a face for half a second, the energy of a room before anyone has spoken, or the unspoken thing in a conversation that everyone else skated past without noticing it was there. Your brain registered all of it, filed all of it, and is now quietly processing all of it simultaneously. Brain imaging research confirms that people wired this way show significantly greater activation in the regions of the brain linked to empathy, emotional processing, and awareness when responding to other people. They are not imagining more, they are genuinely perceiving more. The world is simply louder for them, more detailed, more textured, and more present, which is remarkable and completely exhausting. Let's talk about what this actually looks like day to day. First, you replay conversations, not because something went wrong, but just because your brain is still working through it, reviewing what was said, what was meant, and what the pause before that answer really implied. Second, you feel the energy before the explanation. You know when someone is off before they tell you why, and you read subtext as naturally as most people read text. Third, you carry other people's emotions. You walk into a room and somehow leave with everyone else's weight in addition to yours, because your nervous system absorbs it without asking for permission. Fourth, you are exhausted by environments that other people find completely normal, like a loud restaurant or a crowded office. While others are energized, you are counting down the minutes because your brain has been working 3 times harder than everyone else's. Finally, you have been told you are too sensitive, too emotional, or too intense, and you have spent years trying to figure out whether they were right. Living with this level of awareness comes with a cost that most people around you cannot see because the exhaustion is invisible. You look fine. You functioned all day. You showed up, and you navigated every interaction with more care than anyone realized. And now you are home, and you are completely depleted. Not from doing too much, but from feeling too much and processing too much. You are carrying the emotional labor of every conversation, every energy shift, and every unspoken tension all day, every day. without a moment when the reception simply switches off. There's a phrase that lands for people wired this way. You haven't transcended, you have simply become fluent in a language most people don't even know exists. And fluency in a language no one else speaks is a profoundly lonely thing to carry. Now, here is the other side. The same wiring that makes you exhausted also makes you extraordinary in ways that are genuinely rare. You read people with an accuracy that most humans never develop. You sense when something is wrong before the crisis arrives, which means you are often the person who catches things early, prevents things quietly, and holds space for people before they even find the words to ask for it. You feel beauty more completely. A piece of music, a landscape, or a moment of genuine human connection is experienced all the way down, accessing depths that less sensitive nervous systems simply cannot reach. You are the person in the room who actually understands the full picture, the context, the history, and the feeling underneath the facts. In a world where most people are moving too fast to notice anything beneath the surface, you are one of the few who never stop noticing. So what do you actually do with this? First, stop treating your sensitivity as a problem to fix. You cannot rewire what you were born with, but you can learn to work with it instead of fighting it constantly. Second, protect your energy like the vital resource it is. Your nervous system uses more energy than most people's, meaning you genuinely need more recovery, more quiet, and more time alone. Third, learn to distinguish between your emotions and theirs. When you walk out of a room feeling heavy, pause and ask, is this mine or did I pick it up in there? That single question begins to create a boundary between empathy and absorption. Finally, choose environments that restore you. Not every room deserves your full nervous system, and you get to be selective about where you bring your most sensitive self. Here is what I want you to take from this. You were never too much. The world was just calibrated for people who feel less. The systems around us were built for people who could sit in noise without being overwhelmed and power through without processing. And so people like you learned to believe there was something wrong with the way they were made. There wasn't, and there isn't. You are not broken, you are not fragile, and you are not too sensitive for this world. You are simply moving through it with the volume turned all the way up. And yes, that is exhausting, but it is also the reason you understand things that other people never will. The reason you love deeply, and the reason the people who know you feel seen in a way they cannot quite explain. You were not given too much feeling. You were given more than most people know how to hold. And the fact that you are still holding it says everything about how strong you actually are. If you want to understand more about how your mind works, subscribe. Think deeper. Stay sovereign. See you there.